Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Little with Jude podcast. It's me, Jude. I'm so glad you tuned in today. So I got an ice cream bar last week. I had been craving this particular chocolatey, sticky ice cream bar for days, but I was just too lazy to leave the house and actually go get it. I mean, the shop isn't even so far away, but I was really lazy. But finally something took me out. I think it was Wednesday. I had church and I picked it up on the way back. Now when I got home that evening, like I said, I had church, so it was already late evening. My appetite had practically vanished. It is sometimes. So I just dumped my ice cream in the freezer. It should have been my dessert, which is perfectly acceptable, like ice cream after dinner, but I wasn't feeling it then. The next morning, I woke up with my ice cream on my mind. I was just thinking, I think I dreamt about it, but I was just low-key excited, like a child. Now, for my listeners that grew up in typical Nigerian homes, emphasis on typical, those are rules and regulations, unspoken codes that we don't even know who formed them, we don't even know who came up with them, but they've just been passed down over generations. You know that ice cream is not breakfast food, not under our parents' watch, but it's something I'd been waiting for days, and I'd finally bought it, so you can imagine how excited I was. Still, I didn't want to just go to the kitchen and start unpacking ice cream that morning because my mommy nabbed me. She starts scolding you onijekuje and you don't have self-control at your age, all of that. So I just put it out of my head for a moment and settled into my work that day. But then after a while, it just randomly hit me that I can literally just go and get this ice cream. It really doesn't matter the time. This was still morning, breakfast kind early. But it just occurred to me that I'm not the child I was years ago, and my eating a sweet treat is not really subject to my mom's opinion anymore. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I don't listen to her anymore, but this was just something. I bought it myself, I kept it. I'm old enough to decide when I want to eat something. Basically, I just had a discovery of my own free will. Yes. So I went out, snuck out because I was still being careful not to jam her. Went to the kitchen, got it out, and she overheard me in the kitchen, moving around like a mouse. And she was like, what are you doing there? She didn't even wait for me to just say, I know you've gone to get that ice cream, Abby, this morning. Of course, she still said, your sweet mouth, all of those kind of ice cream in the morning. Is that your breakfast for the day? But surprisingly, she didn't try to stop me like she would have a few years ago. For sure. 4 years ago, who knows, maybe even 3 years ago, she have probably said, no, not now, put it back. Not because I've outgrown her. No, of course. I can never outgrow her, but to some extent, I've kind of grown into my own free will. I think in the Western world, particularly in the US, I get the idea that once people reach 18, the officially legal age, is they're kind of just free to do a lot of things by themselves. You just kind of 100% or almost 100% control your life. But for those of us around here now, we know 18, you can't just flip the switch and, I'm an adult, I can do whatever I want. Now, it doesn't mostly work that way here in Nigeria. In fact, in Nigeria, I feel like no matter what age you get, you're always still kind of subject to your parents, which is a good thing. Which is a great thing. I'm all for respecting our parents. I'm all for not neglecting them or thinking we've outgrown them as we grow up. But I also feel like a lot of Africans, Nigerians, could embrace free will more. Free will. This is literally your life. You're literally allowed to do whatever you want. Obviously, like, you can do things sensibly. You should do things sensibly. You should do things right. You should do things with a moral code. But to some extent, you are actually not even obligated to be sensible. It's literally your life. Free will. You just decide. You can just wake up and decide. Now I'm talking about when you're old enough, of course. I am going to have ice cream for breakfast. Or I am going to change my whole wardrobe to red or pink. I mean, if you have the money, of course. Money supports free will. Anybody that knows anything knows that. Money helps free will, rather. Or I am going to delete all of my social media. I'm going to quit my job. I am going to start going to the gym. I'm going to stop going to the gym. It's just that easy. Like, it's your life. I'm going to wear this today. In fact, from when we were little, like, we've always had this free will, but I just feel like it's something that we grow into more, or like we earn more of as we grow older and become less of other people's responsibility. And I know we're all aware of our free will on some level, like, obviously randomly, it's like, what am I going to eat this night? How am I going to respond to this person? Those are just like basic manifestations. But once in a while, I think we just have that wake up call. Like, boom, this is literally my life. I can literally do whatever I want. So yes, the thoughts just like occurred to me. It's like I woke up to my free will, and every once in a while, especially when I want to do, God please forgive me, especially when I want to do stubborn head for my mommy. And she's like, oh, why don't you do this? And I really don't want to do it. I've noticed that at those points is when I'm suddenly reminded of my free will. And it's like, wait, I actually don't have to do this. She actually can't make me do this. And as a young adult, it can be a bone of contention, especially like I said, in Africa, in Nigeria. It can be a bone of contention between like you and your parents when you start to embrace your free will, because low key, they don't want you to embrace that free will. Don't get me wrong. They want you to grow. They want you to be your own person. They want you to know what you are doing, figure your life out. But African parents don't want you to have free will once it starts to override their own. It's like you ask them something like, Mommy, should I do this? Or Mommy, how should I go about it? And she'll be like, is it not your own? Is it not your money? Is it not this? When they don't want to advise you, they're like, it's you now. You're an adult. You should decide for yourself. But the moment your free will starts to go against something they don't want, it becomes a matter of, you are still my child. I can still tell you what to do. The double standards are crazy, but like I said, typical African families, I mean, we know how it is. I started reading this book by Friedrich Nietzsche, German philosopher. I say started, and I'm so ashamed to say it. It has been so many months, I still haven't finished, but it's quite a heavy read for anyone who has read Nietzsche's works before. And in this section, Beyond Good and Evil, did I mention the name? Beyond Good and Evil. In in several sections, he actually addressed the concept of free will, like man's free will. What really is free will? If most of our decisions are made, if our decisions are made completely by us, or if they are influenced on some level by other things, by other factors, and like if they are, is that really free will and all of that? And yes, like it got me thinking deep, but I'm not going that deep today. I'm not addressing like the factors that influence our decisions. I'm just talking about free will. Just knowing that I can decide. It doesn't matter if I decide to wear a jacket because the weather is cold. Yes, the cold influenced my decision. But ultimately, I chose to. I could choose to not wear a jacket and catch a cold. I mean, it's my life. But like I said at the beginning, obviously free will should work hand in hand with having sense. Anyway, like I said, this is a thought that has just like randomly popped in my head a few times. I mean, I've had this experience several times over the years, like, local girl discovers free will. news headline. But it just comes and goes. Like one moment, I'm just living my life on cruise control, like autopilot kind of thing, like a robot just doing. And then randomly, it's like, whoa, a small rebellion is born inside me. Like, this is my life. I can do whatever I want, So this is just your friendly reminder from Jude that this is literally your life. You can literally do whatever you want. Again, I'm not encouraging you to be rash. I'm not encouraging you to be silly, unreasonable, idiotic. Obviously, I think that's part of another place where free will comes in. You can choose to be careless. You can choose to be irresponsible. But this is your life. Like, you call the shots. You run your life. So why don't you choose to be sensible? Choose to do something good about it. And you don't want to go on for years and suddenly realize much later that you had the full reign of your life and you messed it up. Okay, think of it basically like The Sims. I don't know if any of you have played The Sims. I love that game. Every few years I have to reinstall it and play until, like, I just can't keep going anymore and I have to delete it again. Anyway, that's beside the point. Think of your life like The Sims. You have your people in your little city that you are controlling. It is your life. You can wake up and make these guys enemies. You can wake up and make this person a doctor. This person can work as a firefighter. You can just do whatever you like. You can age this person up and kill them. You can add a baby to this person's house. But most times, like, you intentionally want to make it all work out well. You intentionally want to, like, make the city thrive, make everybody level up, form relationships, form bonds, just because I think it's kind of our natural instinct that God puts into us to, like, just, I don't know, do things well, look out for the things we're given, be responsible. Like, I get it. It's a personality type thing to some extent. Some people are more responsible than others. But I feel like people that are just generally destructive or damaging, I feel like those are the abnormal people. Every normal, sane individual wants to thrive, wants to progress, wants to see things go well. I'm not saying the abnormal people are so much fewer. I mean, that is what accounts for a lot of the rubbish we see in society. People that urinate on the roadsides, people that litter, people that deface property and stuff like that, people that break traffic rules. Those are a few abnormal people that are threatening to, like, mess up the balance we have. But basically, the more we are that want to do the right thing, the more we are that want to progress, I feel like the easier it becomes, and generally the more we move in the forward direction. Recently, my dad was, like, talking and he gave this analysis, or he actually took me back to, like, resultant forces in secondary school. Physics was that, or was it for that math? I can't remember, or I think both. Like, a force moving in one direction, pulling something in one direction, and like a force pulling it in another direction. Basically, we have what we call resultant force, which is kind of, is it the average? Wherever Mr. Prince is, he's probably cringing at what I'm about to say, but it's sort of the average of both forces, and like whichever one is greater, and the direction that it ends up pulling the object in. I mean, if this was visual, I could probably explain it better, but you get my drift. So basically, I feel like if everybody applies their free will with sense, or if most people apply their free will with sense, if most people are intentional about their free will, you see, free will also works hand in hand with intentionality. Just because I can live my life however I want, doesn't mean I have to live it however I want. The fact that it is my life is subject to my decisions, subject to my rules and my choices, means I should be intentional about it. That is all the more reason to be intentional, not careless. So basically, if more people are intentional, if more people are responsible about life, about society, about other people even, it would somehow outweigh the people that are not responsible, people that are careless, people that are anti-progressive, and despite their own whatever mess ups, we'll be able to pull it in a resultant good or positive direction. I don't know if that makes sense. Anyway, this is just me reminding you today that you have free will. Like, it is literally your life. You are allowed to apply for a new job. You're allowed to learn a new skill. You're allowed to change your diet. You're allowed to change your aesthetic. You're allowed to change your fashion. In fact, you're allowed to change your opinions on things. Compete aside, like, I'm a sports fan. Like, quite a huge sports fan. I do like sports. But I cannot tell you I'm a diehard fan of any one team. In fact, I think I tend to move with players. Like, I can say LeBron James, particularly in basketball. I've just moved teams with him. I'm a LeBron fan more than any particular. I just like to watch him play, like to watch him win. So it's like more than any particular team, I'm just kind of a LeBron fan. And a Luka fan too. Let me not forget Luka, my darling. What am I saying? Some people actually think that I'm not a real sports fan. They would tell me like, oh, you're not a real sports fan because you're a Messi fan. I'm also a Messi fan. And like, I liked Messi when he was in Barca. Like, I moved with Messi kind of. But after Messi left, I didn't really like Barca anymore. In fact, I switched to Real Madrid. And there are people that say like, oh, you're not a genuine sports fan. You're not a real sports fan if you can't commit to a team, if you just hop around with players. And honestly, I don't even care. I don't bother trying to defend or explain myself anymore. Like, you enjoy your sports, I'll enjoy mine. But that's what I'm saying. You can decide to wake up and choose to support a new team any day you want. Because it's called free will for a reason. You can like to watch Marvel movies today and decide, oh, like now DC makes better stuff. I prefer DC now. There's no such thing as like sticking to, oh, I have to be a Marvel fan all my life. Oh, I have to be a Manchester United fan all my life. Those are just constraints put on your mind. You're literally allowed to switch up your aesthetic, switch up your support. Like I said, as long as you have morality and common sense at the center, please. I'm not saying you can be a pacifist today and tomorrow you support war and genocide. Of course not. Like, that's just stupid extremes. Saying that like you can support a bad government just because it's your free will. Those are just stupid extremes people go to. What I'm saying is that there's never a bad time to switch up. No, there's never a bad time to switch up. There's never a bad time to get more informed about something and change your mind about it. Now, I see people often, especially young people, we like to like make our ideas and our beliefs our identity. So if like today somebody's like, oh, I support so and so person, or like I'm a fan of this person's music, and tomorrow they're like, I don't like this person anymore, I don't like this person's music anymore, we kind of make it like, oh, this person is not this person is fickle, like you change too easily, you're not loyal to your fan base, or you're not, I don't know how to put it, like you don't see, you're not die hard. And really, who says you have to be? You really don't have to be committed to anything again apart from what is right and what is moral and upright. But who says you have to be a Nicki fan forever? If you suddenly prefer Cardi B, it's perfectly fine. Make the switch. You have free will. You're allowed to love this and not love that. You're allowed to like this and not like that tomorrow. It's basically your life. Free will. The idea of free will, the discovery of free will, that's basically what I did this episode to say. If you stuck around this long, to this point in this episode, because I think this is our longest episode to date, thank you. You exercised your free will to listen to the end, and I'm so grateful for that. I really do hope I made sense with all my free will talk. Please, I'm not trying to encourage a rebellion or anything. But once in a while, the rebellion is good. Just internal rebellion, please. I'm not saying like, oh, burn the systems, destroy. No, I'm not. Even though, yes, I will say where we are at in our country, Nigeria, we actually low-key kind of need that. I don't necessarily mean like a rebellion, uprising against the systems or anything wild. But we all kind of need an internal wake-up call to just like do the right thing. I don't mean to get political. It's just some things are not okay to ignore. We need to do the right thing. We need to hold people accountable to do the right thing too. And pray. Please pray. Pray for your country, pray for the world, pray for people, leaders, pray for yourselves, pray for safety for your loved ones. A lot of crazy stuff is going on in the world today. Like, I can't even wrap my head around it. So just, let's pray. Let's commit to doing the right thing in the face of whatever. Thank you again to all my listeners. Thank you to all my subscribers. Please continue to like and follow and comment on social media handles, A Little with Jude Podcast on X and Instagram. My God, even though I haven't logged into the X in a few weeks. Sorry, I'm just social media. In fact, we'll have an episode on that soon. But I love to see your comments. I love to see your emails. I just love when you guys get in touch with me. It makes me feel like actually listened to. Please share this podcast with anyone you think might like it, anyone you think might enjoy listening to me. And okay, a quick note. I don't know if I officially announced it on social media pages, but this podcast will now be releasing episodes bi-weekly. That means twice a month now, every 2 weeks. It's just life has gotten a bit overwhelming. It's not as easy as I thought to churn out a new episode every week. So for now, we'll be doing an episode every 2 weeks. Yeah, cheers. Have a great day. Have a great week. Happy Tuesday, like we say. That's our thing. Yes, happy Tuesday. And see you next time. I mean, not see you, but talk to you next time. Bye.